Welcome to my workshop. In today's video, a content of this massive box. Finally, I've invested in a high volume, low pressure dust extraction system, and this is it. It's from a company called Cormak. It's a Polish based company. However, I do think they actually ship across Europe and UK. So if you are interested in this product, I'm going to leave some links down below in the description of this video. However, I am in no way associated, paid or anything by that company. I've bought this out of my own pocket. So in today's video, I'm going to unbox it. We'll check out the specs and if it actually sucks. So let's get started. As you can see, the box itself is massive, and I think the whole thing weighs about 60 kilograms, so it's quite hefty. On paper, it's a powerful machine. The specs should be on the screen now so you can have a look yourself. And it was reasonably cheap, in my opinion, for comparing to the specs that we are getting here. So first of all, let's unpack the whole thing and put it together. Tell you what, this motor weighs a ton. Alright then, all the pieces are out of the box. Let's start assembly. Now, I had a look at the instructions and they seem quite straightforward. First of all, the base with the casters. The casters themselves seem very heavy duty, as the whole machine, really, to be fair. Everything's made out of metal. There's no flimsy aluminium or anything like that. It all seems very sturdy. And I'm going to carry on like that with the rest of the casters. Okay, now let's flip it over. Now we're going to attach this base. Now it's time for the motor. This is bloody heavy, so if you can get somebody else to help you out, please do so. As you can see, the motor sits on that support, and we've got two brackets from the fan itself that we need to secure to the wheelbase. There's another bolt on the other side, and plus 4 bolts to hold the motor to that base here. Now I'm just going to carry on with securing all the bolts that I've got to mount this motor. And now we've got the motor and the fan itself mounted, and I just want to point out, as I said, everything is really solidly made. Even these, that's all made from metal, so hopefully it should last a long time and should give a good performance. Okay, now it's time to install the rubber seal to make sure we've got a good connection between the plastic connector over here for the hose. All right, and again, we're just using some bolts with washers to attach everything together. Now I'm going to install the vertical supports. These will be holding the dust bag and the filter at the top. Now it's time to install the collector. That large pipe needs to be heading towards the motor itself, okay? And that shape needs to be facing up. And first of all, we're just going to be installing the sides. And now to the front support, we're actually going to be installing another piece. That's the holder for the filter on top. Okay, now we need to put the hose that will go between the collector and the fan itself. Okay, now it's time to install this hose adapter. So basically, you've got two vents, 10 millimeters each. You can lock one if you're not using it, just like so. One thing to notice, both of the vents got these crosses, plastic crosses inside. That's to prevent larger pieces from going inside. However, I can imagine that, you know, the chips could get blocked by this and cause some issues with that. So I will see how it goes, but I'm more than likely I'm going to remove these just to make sure I've got a good flow. And as you can see on the main machine, you've got another stop. This one is made from metal to prevent larger chips from going inside. So having two, not sure how that's going to work. We'll see. If it will cause any issues, I'm going to remove this one as well. More than likely, I'm going to remove these. This one will stay, but we'll see how it goes. First of all, let's install this as is. With this particular machine, you do have few options when it comes to the filter that's mounted at the top. The first option is just very basic for large chips, and it's not going to filter a lot. The second option, the one I've got, will filter dust up to 5 microns, so it's not too bad. And the third option, the most expensive one, is a proper massive filter that more or less costs almost as much as the whole machine. So that's why I went for the middle option. I think 5 microns for chip extraction is not too bad. So we need to hang it on the top over here, and then you've got these metal bands that we need to put through the holes over here, and then you can secure the filter on the collector below. And there you go, the filter is installed. Now we need to install the bag that collects the chips. With the machine itself, you do get 4 plastic bags that you can install over here and collect the dust and the chips. However, you know, there are limited amount of use. You're going to use it once or twice, and probably that's going to be it. Therefore, I invested in a different type of a bag that, you know, it's not one-time use. You can use it as many times as you want. The only downside of this is you can't really see, because it's not see-through, how full it is. That's the upside of the plastic bag. However, for the initial tests of this machine, I actually want to see how quick it fills up and how it all looks like. And after some time, when I fill up the first bag, I'm actually going to switch to this multi-time use one. Around the machine, you do have these clips that will hold the bag for you, so it's a little bit easier to actually install these on. Otherwise, it would be quite a challenging task. And again, you've got the metal band to go around it and secure everything in place. And there you go, the assembly is complete. It wasn't hard at all. It took probably about half an hour to put everything together. And now let's plug it into this socket and see if it actually works. One thing to note, the power lead is ever so short. Definitely way too short in my opinion. And the actual on-off switch is just at the motor. So if you've got your hoses from that side, this would be behind the machine, and it's a little bit awkward to actually get to it. So if you do decide on buying a machine like this with the same position of the on-off switch, you probably need to think about a way to turn on this machine with a remote. Okay, so you are at your table saw or any other power tool, and you do have a remote to actually turn this machine on. I think that would be the quickest and the best solution. And that's exactly what I'm going to do for this machine. But hey, let's see if it works. As you can see, it works, no issues at all. It actually does take a few seconds for it to get to the full RPMs. However, It's actually ever so quiet. I was thinking it's going to be a lot louder than this, so that's really good to know. Right then, so I'm going to put a hose on that, and I'm going to make a mess on my floor to see how well it tackles some dust. Right, let's test it out. Out of curiosity, let's actually check how loud this machine really is. I've got my decibel reader here, and let's have a look what results we're gonna get. I'm gonna be holding this about 1 meter away from the machine. As you've seen, it was about 80 decibels, so for a machine of this size and power, I think that's pretty damn good. And reducing noise in your workshop is one of the good ways of having a healthy environment to actually work in. So from that perspective, it's definitely quite good. And as you've seen, it sucks just fine. So one major gripe I'm going to have with this machine is the location of the power button on and off switch, okay? But overall, it seems to be a very good and solid machine. But only time will tell how this bad boy will perform. Now, obviously, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be testing this machine as I've got some timber to take through my thickness planer and my jointer. So it will be a nice test for this machine to shine or actually show some of its flaws. So a few months down the road, I'm actually going to do a review of this tool to let you know if it was a good investment or not. If you have been watching my channel, you do know I've got a shop vac with a cyclone system that worked for me for years now, and it was just fine. However, obviously for the more demanding tools like the thickness planer or a jointer, this is not really designed to tackle that issue. Hence, I've got this machine. Now, in the near future, I'm going to create a video talking about the differences between those two systems. This one is high volume, low pressure. This one, on the other hand, is low volume and high pressure. I'm going to talk you through the differences and why really you should have both in your workshop, especially if you already have got several woodworking tools like a table saw, jointer, planer, you know, a router or a sander. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and press that bell notification and change it to all. However, in the meantime, I've got full kitted playlist with plenty of videos for you to watch. Hopefully, I'll see you on one of those videos there. Take care.